epoch, and this is my epoch. Okay, so I am, today's topic is the criminalization of homelessness. And a lot of the reason why I'm going to be talking about this is because I am in Nashville, Tennessee. And here in Nashville, they have, actually the whole state of Tennessee has criminalized homelessness. And you know, this is more of a political issue than anything else. And that's part of the reason why I'm going to be talking about this. So let's start off with, and guys, I'm sorry about the wind. I couldn't get my mic out in time to get this started. So anyways, if you're in chat, say hi. Otherwise, yeah, we'll keep going. But all right, today's topic is the criminalization of homelessness. So let's talk about traditional conservatism and traditional liberalism. Traditional conservatism it's a wise idea. Use less. Hey Jeff, use less and be more efficient with the things in which you have. You know, that way you conserve your environment. Hey Patty, nice to see you, man. I haven't seen you over on Discord lately though. Anyways, so traditional conservatism is, you know, you want to use less. You want to be more efficient with the things that you have. You want to use less. Traditional conservatism are more environmentalists than, let's say, the Liberal Party. But yet the Liberals have kind of hijacked that and turned it into their thing. But that's what traditional. Hey guest, you know, just that. Traditional liberalism, what ended up happening there is it's like this. You do you, I'll do me, do no harm. Nobody has the right to tell you how to live. You're living the human experience, and as long as you are doing no harm, then then you should be allowed to do what it is that you want to do. That's why we as a country have been always labeled as a liberal society, because of the ability to have personal freedoms. And that was traditional liberalism. But as somebody once told me, nice to see you too, man. I hope you're doing okay. That's fine. Hey, no worries. I haven't been on Discord in a few days either. So, but anyways, the way that I was told many years ago is that if you are a Republican, you know, you can keep your wallet, but we control your thinking. If you're a Democrat, you know, you can think how you want, but we want control over your wallet. And both are neither good options, really. And so what conservatism and the Republicans have turned into today, especially even the liberals have turned in today, is more of a fascist style society, more of a despot style society. So you got to go look up the difference between despot and fascist. But fascist is government control, a strong central government. That's why most of your Republicans like Donald Trump, is because he he represents a strong federal government. But if you are a conservative, you want to conserve the power to the people, and you want to have government have very minimal power, because again, you know, going into liberalism, you know, you do you as long as you do no harm. Okay. Hey Jeremy, nice to see you. Okay, so with that being said, what is going on here in Tennessee? Well, Tennessee has made it a felony to camp. Now, let's get into the legal definition. What is camping? Okay, is camping just laying on the street corner, or is it being in a tent? How is it that they are camping? How is camping how is camping defined? Okay, so I got clearance from the security guard to sit here. He's just checking on me. That's all. But anyways, you know, in the state of Tennessee, they have made it a felony to camp on public, private, and state property. So if you are sleeping on a sidewalk, they could very well give you a felony citation. Now, how is that actually going to be productive? How are you helping people out? Now, if you really want to get down to the crux of it and look between the lines, read between those lines, what they're really saying is that, well, we're not getting any money from you in taxes. we're not getting any money from you in spending in the economy because you really don't have that much money to begin with. Otherwise, you'd probably pay for a house. But since you don't have all of that, and we still want to make money off of you, let's put you through the system. And so the whole argument that they're saying is, oh, well, we're not really going to enforce it. We're just going to use it as a tool to get people the help that they need. What help? What help? At this point in time, what help are you offering people, really? How is that helping somebody by giving them a felony? Do you realize that because I was dumb enough to take the criminal charge in Oregon about a decade ago now, that because of that, you know how hard it is for me to get a place to live? I've had to live in hotel rooms for the last almost a decade, okay? Because they took a charge, and the way in which they wrote it in such fine detail, as I'm listed as a violent criminal, even though I've never had I've never committed an act of violence to begin with, because of something that happened in LA. It happened to be over weed. But you know what? They don't put that in there when the police officers check my record. All they see is that it's a drug charge. Well, you know, there's a big difference, because I'm not a crackhead, I'm not a heroin addict, I'm not a tweaker, I don't do Molly, I don't do heroin, I don't do any of that stuff. So when a police officer looks at me, because he's so used to interacting with the homeless, he's already expecting me to be a white doper, when all it was weed. And most of the cops around here, they're like in the country now. And this is post-pandemic. Most of the cops here in the country, they see it and they're like, I got more important things to worry about. It's not worth the paperwork. I mean, if you have small amounts, like less than, let's say, 3 grams, the cops aren't really going to do anything. They may take your stuff, they may confiscate it, but they're not taking you to jail, they're not giving you a citation, they're not giving you any of that stuff. All they're doing is they're taking it off the streets in whichever way they see fit. But in a lot of ways, some of the cops don't even really care about that. I've had experiences where they're like, that's not even worth the paperwork. And they took my stuff and let me go on my own. And in some instances, especially being out here, if I ever plan on being housed again, the criminal charges in which you receive are a huge, huge barrier. And since the system cannot necessarily benefit off of a homeless person through the workforce, through taxation, and through other ways, this is how they get their money. Okay, and it's going to a foreign entity, a third-party system, because the judicial system is a disinterested third party. When you go onto a courthouse, it is actually foreign territory, because that's part of how we set up our justice system. Okay, is that they have to be a disinterested third party, and so on and so forth. That's why your lawyers, when they go take that oath to the Bar Association, and so on and so forth. And then not only that, every time somebody goes in there for a criminal charge, now that judge, he has a conflict of interest. Okay, his conflict of interest is that the penal sum that is attached to the charge, part of that goes into his retirement. So if he convicts you, well, he's padding his retirement. So therefore, it's a conflict of interest. So therefore, is he truly a disinterested third party? Not necessarily. And you can probably get a lot of stuff thrown out if you bring that into play. Now, let's look at the other part of this. Okay, to criminalize a natural human function of, we're humans, we're creatures of nature. You have to be able to sleep. You have to eat. 1.6 did my time, 41 years, still can't run the party. Exactly, Jeff. That's what I'm talking about, is the criminal charges, the mistakes that you make out here, because you've hit bottom of the barrel, you've given up on life. Oh wow, nice. That's well, man, something in your 20s still affects you today. And how is that benefiting you? So, yes, we want to put these charges out there so that we can benefit them. You mean benefit yourselves, benefit the state by churning you through the system. Okay. Now, the criminalization of being able to sleep outside. Now, if somebody decides that they actually want to fight it, and if I get a charge, I guarantee you I'm fighting this one, because I'm not taking a felony for this. That's crap. if something like this happens, it's a direct violation of the Eighth Amendment. If you go look at, the city of Boise v. Martin, or Martin v. the city of Boise, okay, that right there is a landmark case for homelessness, because what they did is they said, hey, look, it's a violation of the Eighth Amendment, which is cruel and unusual punishment. You cannot expect a human to stay up for 24 hours and not do their normal functions that every human being expects to be able to do. Eat, sleep, use the bathroom. Those are basic human functions that, because of the way nature designed you, you have no way out of that. I can't stop being human. So now what they're really doing is they're saying, well, I can't criminalize you based upon the color of your skin, but I can criminalize you based upon the status of life in which you live. So yet again, here is the beginning of yet another civil rights movement, should it take off. But because of the stigma and the propaganda surrounding the homeless situation, it's going to be very hard for people to be able to get behind it, because all they see are drug addicts. And here's the funny thing. Even the drug addicts hate other drug addicts. It's not something that they enjoy. It's being held prisoner in a lot of ways. You're being held prisoner because out here you need something to augment the craziness and the dumb stuff that you've got to go through. I mean, you got to duck and dodge and play with the police in a good game of hide and go seek. I mean, last night I had to sleep in a spot fully expecting to get woke up by the police this morning. Now, what they're saying here in Tennessee is that we're not really going to enforce it, but we'll kind of use it as a tool. Okay, I don't see how it's a tool, but it's a tool. But again, it's a violation of the Eighth Amendment. Now, the other thing here is that they are criminalizing panhandling. Okay, as much as you don't like panhandling, I hate panhandling. I don't want to panhandle. Speaking of panhandling, guys, help me not panhandle today. I need to raise $20 so that when I get on the train again, I am able to. When I get on the train again, I am able to have the resources. I need water and I need a couple of days worth of food. Okay, so if you want to go down in my tip jar and help me out with some funds. Otherwise, I got to go hold a sign, and I got to raise the money with or without the help from this channel, because first, I get paid between the 20th and the 27th, 28th of the month. So I've got like another 2 weeks before the general funds in which I would be using to kind of survive out here will be coming in for me. But on the other end, I had to, in order to be able to get gear, I had to use all that money instead of being able to, sit there and put it in my pocket and save it and stretch it out throughout the month. Because, I mean, I make a couple $100 a month. I'm not making a lot of money. This year, I have probably made less than $5,000. Okay, but yet I've managed to survive and get the things that I need. So, but there are certain things that do require money. But anyways, this whole panhandling thing is a violation of your right to free speech. You have the right to ask people to beg on a corner. You have the right to say what it is that you want to say without any censorship or hindrance. And even if it's something that you dislike, see, that's the thing about rights. Rights require have a duty and obligation. And one of the duties and obligations associated to every right is that you have to respect other people's rights, other people's ability to use that right, whether you agree with it or not. I could say, hey, I'm pro-Palestine. Well, if I was pro-Palestine, that's my right to free speech. Now, whether or not you like me or dislike me, now that's a personal decision. But to sit there and tell me, oh, well, you can't say anything about Palestine. Well, you know what? That is a violation of my free speech. To be able to criticize the administration, to be able to criticize our government, to be able to criticize those in power and the way that they use and or abuse their power, that is a right of free speech. Just as you have the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Now, it used to be happenstance, which happenstance is experience, and that's actually much better than what it used to be. But anyways, I honestly, I like happenstance more than happiness, and that's the way that the Constitution was originally written. But it was rewritten post-Civil War, which is one thing that most people don't know, because the original 13th Amendment was actually written into the new text.
so that they could replace that amendment with a new 13th Amendment, which is neither slavery nor involuntary servitude shall exist within the United States. Now, that's the United States. That does not cover the states. That only covers the District of Columbia and all of its territories. Okay,
So that's why they had to create the U.S. citizen to make you a federal citizen so that they could federally protect your rights. But then they said, well, if you're going to be a federal citizen, you don't have rights anymore. You have benefits and privileges. And so now we're all running around going, I'm a U.S. citizen. No, my native land, my native country is Colorado. It's great to hear more people waking up. Yes, it is. Thanks for that, Bushcraft. Can you expand on that a little bit more? So, that's just my whole thing is why if I should be able if I'm doing no harm and I'm trying to survive. Now, one thing else that I wanted to talk about as part of this whole subject before I start taking your guys' questions. So if you guys have any questions about my train ride, about where I'm going, what I'm doing, how I survive, all this stuff, you can start asking those questions now. But I saw something, because I'm in Nashville, and so I get the Nashville hashtag feed. And there was a guy talking about, oh man, I hate it. I mean, I'm up here, getting gas, and this guy comes up to me and panhandles for me for money. Rah, 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 rah. Okay, I get it, man. I get it. I hate waking up in the morning, and what's the temp there? It's supposed to be 71 degrees today. It was 40 when I woke up. There is a huge temperature, about a 5-degree difference between here and Cincinnati right now. Okay, so that's why I look a lot more comfortable. I'm not shivering. I'm not running around trying to all this other stuff. But anyways, it's like, yeah, guy, I get it. But again, even those that are, we'll call them drug addicts for YouTube's sake, but we know what we really want to call them. Okay, those guys, they don't like each other. They don't like themselves. Okay, and so you hating on them, all you're doing is just they hate on themselves as well. And you're looking at the end result instead of looking at the causation. Okay, let's look at me, for example, because I can only talk about me since I am me and my experience is all about me. Okay, your experience is all about you and my experience is all about me. Okay, because of the conflict going on the southern border, I lost my business, not through any fault of my own, but because the craziness that's going on. Okay, so I lost my business. I had a business for 6 years. I was very successful. I had over $100,000 in revenue. I was able to live off of about $40,000-$50,000 a year. Hey, Amethyst, nice to see you. This is the way that my life was. And then through no fault of my own, I had to close my business. I had 2 weeks to close my business and sell all of my assets, whatever I could, to be able to gain as much funds as possible. Do you realize how many small business owners like myself have lost everything because of not just the shutdowns, but the chaos post-shutdown? Okay, we lost about 50% of our small businesses. I just happen to be one of them. It was just where I happen to be, is that we lost 50% of our small businesses. And so now I'm out here. Now with what's going on in Israel, what's going on in the rest. Hey, Paranoid, glad to see you. Hey, Paranoid, I'm going to send you an email once I figure out. I'll tell you here in a second. But I forgot what I was talking about. Oh, well. So going back to Paranoid, if you're one of the people helping me navigate like Paranoid is and some other people that are helping me, you should be getting an email with a link to a Patreon video. Make sure you hit the like and sub, spread the love. Yes, Jeremy, spread that love. Yeah, don't forget to spread that love. But anyways, what I'm going to end up doing with Patreon, how this is all going to do, because I like the mail writing. Long distances, quickly, but I tell you that this, okay, so it would take me about 2 to 3 weeks to make 300 miles, okay? Not even 2 weeks to make about 300 miles in a month. You probably can do about 600, okay? 500 to 600 miles in a month seems about a reasonable amount of distance to be able to walk if you walk every day and do 15 to 20 miles a day. But the thing is the stress that puts on my body because of different things. I'll go into that. I lost my business, no need for parachute riggers. Really, even with, hey, Antoine, really, even with everything that's going on with the military, you're not able to get a government contract? I'm surprised. I would have expected you to be able to just, to keep everything going, because parachuting is a necessary thing. But anyways, all right, guys. Sorry, my brain is going in 50 different directions because I'm trying to keep up with you guys. I'm excited. Okay, so the stress on my body. So the amount of stress that it would take on my body in probably about 2 weeks of walking trail is the amount versus the amount of stress that I did in 24 hours. The way that my body is in recovery, it's almost the same amount of toll that it takes on your body. Okay, it just does it in such a short amount of period of time. Part of it was the eating, part of it was the sleeping. I mean, I did get, when the train stopped for a couple hours, I did get some sleep, but I didn't get much sleep. I got enough to where my eyes weren't burning, but I was really dizzy yesterday towards the end of the day, and I believe a lot of that had to do with lack of food and lack of sleep. And so after 24 hours of riding, maybe like 20 hours of riding to get here, actually not even that, so yeah, less than 20 hours to get from Cincinnati to Nashville. Okay, but last night, luckily my body, I've gotten it well enough to be able to do a quick recovery. But and you guys might sit there and say, "Oh, Tuck, it can't be that bad. I've done it." Da da da. Well, here, let me kind of let you know some factors that play in it for me. Now, you guys have heard me talk about the whole suicide video and just kind of like keeping your mental health together. So part of what happened to me when I went through my experience is that I starved the first attempt, I starved myself for 6 days. My body, anytime I skip a meal or skip more than one meal, the amount of shock that it goes into because of muscle memory, because it thinks that I'm doing that same thing to it again, the amount of shock that my body goes into is crazy. So just that little bit of time not eating. Now, years ago I could have handled it, not a problem, but because of what I did to myself, my body is stuck in a continuous state of shock on some of these things. Okay, not only that, just the yeah, it's just that's mainly it. It's just the shock from not eating, and then the shock from the stressors of just going and traveling the way I do. That really does a huge toll on my body. My recovery time takes probably twice as long as the average human being. So when I talk about all these things, and the fact that I'm getting quicker on recovery means that I am retraining my body. And this is something you're going to have to train your body on, especially if you're going to travel, because there's going to be points when there is little to very little food. There are going to be points. There is an adjustment period. Stress, do things, less to take in. Now you know how to make it better. Yes, I do, and I am going to. I'm going to make this as comfortable as possible. Because this is going to be my repertoire. Now that I know that I can do this, there's a lot of places I've been wanting to see that I haven't been able to see because of, I got to take a Greyhound. How long am I staying in Tennessee? Well, if the rail kid, it's another YouTuber. He's a smaller YouTuber, but he offered. We're supposed to be meeting up. I'm waiting for him to send me an email. Now I accidentally fat fingered it, so I had to go in there and update it. So if you are watching or if you see this later, notice that my email, that original post with my email in it, I had to go in there and edit it and take the M out. So it's JasonTheWise81 at yahoo.com. Because I was going to exchange numbers, that way he could, we could actually figure out how to meet up. I might be leaving tomorrow. I might be leaving Monday. I know tomorrow I'm going to go out and kind of watch the trains and watch how everything's going and stuff like that. But we'll see how long it takes me to get out of town. One thing I'm really going to have to really focus on is the whole food aspect. My stamps don't kick in again until the 18th.
and then I won't have the whole food and water issue. But water, honestly, my
Personal opinion, I don't think you really need a gallon of water. You shouldn't have more than
6 ounces of water per hour in any given day. So 96 ounces for one day. So I've heard people, oh yeah, I was
on a 12-hour train ride and we spent 3 hours in the desert. Man, I needed that water. It's like you're
overhydrating yourself. You're actually hurting yourself.
Take your time, nothing to rush you unless the weather gives you a push. Yeah, so that's another thing. I've got about 2 weeks before the weather really starts turning south here. But those of you that know that I get my weather from Ryan Hall, y'all, this area is supposed to get a significant amount of snow this year, or is expected to. But the major storms are going to be Rule 1, don't get cocky. Rule 2, if you need to ask yourself, should I do this? Refer to Rule 1. Rule 1, I'm always right. In the event that you may think I'm wrong, refer to Rule 1. So, but yes, definitely. And again, I'm trying to figure out how to
use Rumble as my backbone, because Rumble is not working with Patreon. I want to get my videos. I want to get them off of YouTube. So if you go down in my description, there is a link to my Rumble channel. All the videos that I delete, because I actually fine tune this channel. Like, I go in there, I delete the not so popular videos or the filler videos that just really didn't get much traction. I delete those, but those are all uploaded to Rumble. So if you go over to Rumble, you will all get to see the 350 videos that I have uploaded versus like the 200 videos that you see here. Okay, much different. So if you guys go over there, you can search through my library. Maybe there's some stuff there that you like. But Rumble will never be anything close to YouTube as far as searchability and keywording, because it's an exact match. It is a primitive search system, and really doesn't for a content creator, unless you're doing extreme titles like "Holy shit, they did this," well then it is the way it is. But anyways, so before I get to a point of getting to the point where I'm gonna, because I only wanted to spend about a half hour, I gotta go find a place to eat. They feed at 11. Question: how you manage your calories, food intake? Do you have some systematic approach, or is it? That's a good question. I actually asked Shoestring a similar question, because on trail you need to eat 8,000, or you need to eat about 4,000 calories to maintain your weight. But the calories are different. Here's what I would say on that. I had like 5 sandwiches within a 24-hour period of time. That's not going to fill you up, especially when you're used to being active. What you need to really understand is, what is your calorie output for the day? Then you need to figure out, what can I do to increase that calorie. So there are some hikers that like to take a bottle of like canola oil and stuff like that. They'll put that in their rice just to help give them an extra 400 or 500 calories, just so that their body isn't in shock. That is something that I haven't tried, but I've thought about it, because I understand the importance of having calories, because one, it works on your body temperature. The colder it is, the more you're going to eat, because your body is burning those calories trying to keep you warm. If you notice, when it's cold out and you eat, you get a little bit warmer. You also, if you're outside and it's cold, you got to be on the move, which means you're going to be burning more calories. So as far as diet goes, rice is a primary staple because of the type of carbs. See, you could go eat sugar and it's not going to do for you what the carbs do or the sugar does in the rice. Your body processes it differently, and it processes it better. Thanks man, much appreciated. Anyways, so rice is a primary staple. If you are going to keep going, if you need to keep your muscles in shape, Wendy, be safe. See you on the next stream, bro. Okay, yeah. I will definitely go eat here in just a minute, but they don't feed till 11. So, and I started the stream at 9:30 here, 10:30 your time. So I got another hour before I got to be there. It's only a few blocks. I just want to. I'm one of those people. If you're not early, you're late, and so I always show up a few minutes early to something like that.
But anyways, as far as food goes, rice is a primary staple. You need to have protein in your diet, but depending upon the way you travel, protein will actually slow you down. Now, you do need to have a little bit of protein every day, but like when I was honestly when I even biking and hiking, I needed the carbs more than I needed the protein. The protein just makes you feel full longer. Now, if you're more of an idle person, I enjoy when doing long trips. Pasta's good, especially if you got some good red sauce to go with it. Witchcraft. Oh man, here's a big old gust of wind. Like carrying Pop-Tarts in my guitar case. Pop-Tarts are good. That's great for breakfast. Thanks. What about caffeine-rich drinks? Caffeine dehydrates you. Okay. It is a diuretic, and it will also get your guts moving. So like coffee. Yeah. I usually, after I have my first cup of coffee in the morning, that's time. About 5 minutes later, I gotta go use the bathroom. So coffee will activate your guts. You got to look at it as food is a tool. You're playing chemistry with your body, and each body has its own needs based upon your diet and your lifestyle. Okay, and so what I do and what you do are two totally different things. Now, I am losing weight, but I'm not losing it as fast as I was on bike. On bike, I was losing anywhere 5 to 10 pounds a day for each day that I rode. It was kind of scary. But I also had to learn the benefits of rice, and that's kind of where that came in. But when it comes to food, rice, minimize the caffeine, have a cup of coffee in the morning, but don't go extreme on that. I wouldn't do energy drinks either. Expect to sleep more. So if you sleep 6 hours, if you're active, like on trail or biking, we can get a case of MREs for $32. Wow, whole full meal with a little leg work can make. With a little leg work, it can make nutrition. We just need to get your income up.
Yes! Honestly, Paranoid, that sounds like a great idea, because they have MREs that they give to civilians, and I'm just waiting for the famine to kick in so that the military starts handing them out to keep people at bay. It's just a matter of time. Yes, MREs can be good. Now, my old man, this was almost 25 years, more than 25 years ago. I got to eat one of my old man's MREs, and it was spaghetti. Ugh, MRE spaghetti is nasty. But at that time, I really wasn't big into spaghetti. But the MREs that I've eaten recently are much, much better than they used to be. And the ones that come with civilians, they actually give you candy. And that's really good for my teeth so that I can clean all the stuff out from them. So after you eat, if you don't have the ability to brush your teeth, if you have a hard candy and you just suck on it, it will start cleaning all that stuff out of your teeth. Next thing you know, by the time the candy's done, all that stuff that got in between your teeth is completely gone. In a lot of ways, it's an alternative to brushing your teeth. But anyways, yeah, that would definitely be good. So, anyways, guys, does anybody else have any more questions? Now, I'm gonna try and get on the train again, either tomorrow or Monday. I don't know how long it's going to take me. I do know that I'm trying. The way I would like to go, because I've been looking at the rail guide. The way that I would like to go is from here. There's origination where I can make it down to Pensacola. If it ends in Pensacola, so that means it goes through Montgomery and. I can't remember the other. There's Montgomery, which is what I walk through on the Alabama Road Walk, and then there's another one. But I hear that those rail yards are really, really bad, and that because there's a lot of tweakers that go around. So I've heard some bad things about these rail yards in Alabama. But if I can make it through Alabama and to Pensacola, that would be ideal for me. And then from there is a line that I could take and get off somewhere around Lake City. And then the old lady can come by and pick me up. Where are you getting it? Jeremy would like to know where you get your MREs. You can post a link, and if it needs to be approved, I will approve it. Because, everybody needs access to that. Those MREs are definitely good. Anyways, that's kind of the hope and the plan. Now... But I need to be in the Panhandle no later than December. But once I get to that panhandle is still going to get pretty cold. I'm excited to see your travels. I'll be back on the rails to Maryland in Feb soon. We got to hook up. I don't even know how to... Zico? We'll just call you Zico. Okay, yeah. And if any of you guys want to ride with me, teach me some things, stuff like that, send me an email, and we'll have a little bit of a discussion, and then I will give you my direct contact number to be able to do further coordination.
Because when you get to that level, and I'm going to ride with you, I mean, you might as well have my phone number. But you know, it's not an open invitation. You just call me whenever you want either. I do filter a lot of my calls, and unless I know who you are and I want to talk to you, I don't answer my phone. That's the great thing about being me. But anyways, I want to, that's kind of where I want to go. And I'm probably, after because the old lady says that she's going to pay me like $50 to help her out with some work. And once I'm done with that, I think what I'll do is I'll try and go south. I want to see Miami, and I want to see Key West, and I want to see the beaches, because in the next, I don't know, because those of you that know that I follow Billy Meyer, here's the way that I'm seeing things play out. Okay, so I read a most recent contact report from Meyer talking about how there's more than 50 countries that are involved. This is a silent world war. So I was expecting a formal declaration based upon his prediction, which is it starts in November, it's 3 years, 11 months later, ends in October. You have about 2 years of kinetic fighting, and then the fun stuff happens. We'll just say that, NBCs, okay? So, you know, that's something to look forward to. So I am playing on the fact that I have less than 2 years left to be able to enjoy what I want to enjoy before this whole shit show gets kicked off, and you're gonna wish that you were in the center of one of those explosions. Because here's the thing that's going to happen, and this is what Meyer has talked about. There will be so much blood on the ground that the plants will learn to live off of it. 1. 2, those that survive will be so severely maimed that I think that the average person, he doesn't talk about this, but I think that the average person would be, if I'm not maimed, why I wish I hadn't just survived. Because nobody really wants to survive what's coming. And then the thing is all these Christians are going to find out that there was no such thing as Armageddon. And then, you know, and they're hoping for the rapture. Oh, by the way, speaking of the rapture, I saw a funny meme. It says, take a bunch of blow-up dolls and fill them up with helium and then release them, and then show that to a bunch of Christians and see what happens because they think they missed the rapture. So, hey, it's cold in Canada. I think they'll do whatever they can do to avoid saying World War III, even as it is
where this is headed. Yeah, you know what? I'm some of the people that I talk to within FIGU, that's the organization that's around Billy Meyer. Some of those people, some of those people have been telling me for a while that the world war is here, and I'm like, no formal declaration. Nah, when I see a formal declaration, then I will plan. But you know what? After reading Meyer's last contact report, those guys were right, most likely, and I was wrong. I'm okay with that. It's not one of those where you'd like to be wrong, because I should have been living life a little bit differently. But,
you know, this is the time. This is why I did that video on I Give Up. Because the world does not want to fix its problems, it wants to complain about it. The world has no real chutzpah. We'll say that word. They have no real intention or desire to make any reasonable changes to fix the solution. We have been raised in what is called a limited liability society, and if you know anything about a limited liability company, it's all benefits and no liabilities. That's why they call it limited liability, which means that you can go out there and you can destroy somebody's life, but they can't come back and return the favor because you're hiding behind a limited liability corporation. And that is something that we as a society, that plays into the whole way in which we see things. But anyways, guys, I need to end this so I can go eat. Everything's down in the description. If you haven't subscribed, become a subscriber, hit that like button. Don't forget to hit that bell notification so every time I go live, because it's just going to be random like this until I get to Florida.
B-U-E, I don't know what that means. Is that boo? Anyways, you know, I need to raise $20. If any of you guys want to help me out, a couple dollars here, a couple dollars there, through my tip jar, be much appreciated, so that I can get the supplies I need, so that I can get back on the road with ease, because I'm not leaving here without food. I'm not leaving here without food or water. Water is easier to get than food. I may stand outside of McDonald's and see if I can rummage up like $15, $20 burgers, because I mean the preservatives in that, it'll make it last. I could get that to last for a year before it goes bad. That's how bad McDonald's stuff is. But you know, that's where I'm going. Anyways, Patty, I will stay safe. Thanks for watching, guys. I will see you in the next video.